Alright, Infernal Blessings, we are back with another video. So this one's kind of going to be a recap of the conference. I'm just going to run through some things. But before I do that, just a couple quick announcements. So believe it or not, just throw it out there. Won't talk about it too much. But again, 8th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference will be October 2025, either the 3rd or the 4th week of the month, just depending as we get a little further out. More to come on that. So that'll take place. And again, if you want to come, it's always around that time, so you could always, prepare. You always know it's at the end of October, just depending on how days fall. So it gives you time, to plan. And I usually have the exact date, usually around springtime, late springtime. I usually get the exact, date. So you still have 5-6 months or more in advance. That's plenty of time to, book flights early where you get good rates. Now, also keep this in mind, what some people don't realize. People think booking flights real early saves money. No, if you notice, if you go look, if you book a flight too early, okay, it can actually cost more money than booking it. Say you book a flight 6-7 months out, you're going to see they're astronomical. The reason why is because nobody's buying tickets for that flight, okay? And then you're going to realize as you get closer, what tends to happen, they'll go up and down. So long story short, usually about 3 months or so, if you can, that's usually the best time to buy tickets, to get flights. Hold on, let me turn this sound off. I don't know why that's beeping. But just to give you that idea, yeah, three months or so out is probably a good time for you to do that. Don't do it too early, all right? So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. More to come on that. If you're interested in a spiritual reading or a spiritual consultation, as you know, I offer various different types of readings, Klapothic demonic readings, Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, deity readings, shadow work readings, which is always a good reading to do. When you're looking for a sense of purpose or direction, because always working with the shadow or the hidden self is consistent work. But shadow work reading, one of the great things about it, it's going to point you in the direction to some of the most, or the important things that's going on in your life, right? And that's critical. That's key. I'm a big proponent on, look, your ritual work should be designed and created first and foremost to address needs that need to be worked on, whatever that is, good or bad. Okay, so if you're interested in any of the aforementioned, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com, and please include in that email, very important, your full weekly availability. Don't just send me I'm available Tuesday at 3 o'clock. It doesn't work like that. And also include the time zone you're in, and we will set up a day and time that works for both of us. All right. If you want to sign up for classes, go to the Patreon page. That's where I do all my classes at. Because people always reach out. If you're looking for mentorship program classes, how can I work with you? That's how you do it. Go on the Patreon. I always recommend people sign up for Tier 3. That gives them access to all the monthly classes. I do 3 per month on Patreon, including the group ritual we do at the end of the month. All right, and it also gives you access to everything in the archives when you join. You don't just get access from the day you join moving forward. You get access to everything that's in the archives, okay? So I want to make that clear. All right, if you're interested in a mentorship program and working with me one-on-one, Tier 5, that's the tier you want to join. I don't have a lot of spots left in the mentorship program. They fluctuate as people come and people go. Everybody's not cut out for the mentorship program. But I do have some spots currently at the time, some limited spots. I don't have a ton. The reason why I say that, it's hard to deal with multiple people simultaneously. It's not a mentorship program where I just throw videos up. I just don't think that that's effective. They're one-on-one, once-a-month sessions with myself, and we go over work, we go over material. I just think that's more effective, more hands-on. There's a lot of stuff out there where they call it mentorship programs, and you're just watching videos and instructionals, and that's cool. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's not. But I think the hands-on is way better. Okay. But anyway, you go to patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. And if you go to the Patreon page, you want to see all the ongoing classes, new classes being added consistently, go to the page and just click the collection section, and you will see all the current classes that are ongoing right now, how many are archived in each class. And again, if you can't attend live when we do the classes, the beauty is you can go in and you can go right to the links and take the classes that are archived on your own free time. That's the beauty of it. Now, obviously, it's great if you can get there live and you can interact with myself and everybody else in the room. But anyway, you have that option. All right, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. All right. Don't forget to check out the social media pages. Primordial Chaos 9, all one word, on Instagram. Primordial Chaos, 2 words, on Facebook. And primordialchaos3.com on TikTok. I don't know why I was getting fucked up with that one. Must be something about it. But the TikTok page is growing. And I started that several months ago. And you know, it's so hard to keep up with all these damn platforms. But the TikTok, it's better than I thought. But I just think there's some weird ass people on TikTok. I thought Instagram was a little bugged out sometimes, but TikTok got Instagram beat. But anyway, that's the social media pages. Also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. So my contact email, the direct link to the social media pages, the podcast, and the Primordial Chaos Patreon page for classes. All those links are in the description box of the video that you are watching right now. All right, so what I just wanted to kind of run down quick. This won't be too long of a video. It's been very busy the last week with the conference. We're winding up this past weekend, and then I haven't been able to shoot too many videos. I am going to go live soon. I haven't done a live video in a few weeks because it's just been extremely busy. As you know, the conference began last Thursday on the 31st. I'm going to recap some great experiences, some great feedback. And then now, after the conference ends, I got to get back into full gear swing, and then I got to catch up also these last few days on clients that have booked either consultations or readings. So it's very busy, just getting almost caught up. I'm going to have to put it on pause because as of the day of this video, tomorrow I'll be driving out. We're headed up to Jacksonville, Florida. Little guy got a hockey tournament, so I'll be busy this weekend. Won't be able to do too much over the weekend. So it'll be hockey weekend with the little man. But I always look forward to the hockey. All right, so just a quick recap of the conference. So Thursday evening, probably the largest turnout I've got for a meet and greet. Usually it's very small. A couple of people might show up because I know sometimes people's schedules are, it's a little bit tough with work, career, business. So sometimes not everybody can get there on the Thursday evening, but we had pretty much everybody there except for a few people. So I was happy to see that. We met at the cemetery and we did a ritual for Ampu or Anubis. But Nepthys decided she wanted to, bum rush that session. And it wasn't a coincidence. I kind of sensed it and expected to a degree because the week prior, the Thursday prior, we had just finished that ritual on Patreon with Nepthys, and I've been going through a lot of shit with that. I don't know about you guys, but I can tell you I'm going through it. The Nepthys stuff was no joke, and it still is no joke, right? It's been a learning experience is the best thing that I can say. So she decided, and obviously being with her connection to Ampu in the graveyard, and Ampu being her child, right? There was a lot of messages that came through, some personalized and individualized for people that were at that ritual or gathering. We invoked Ampu or Anubis, the spirits of the dead. We always show the respect and reverence when we enter and exit. And again, without getting impersonal or detailed, and individuals on an individual level on their own received messages, and I had received some messages from the spirits that I had delivered also myself to everybody as a whole. And it was a great way to kick off the conference. Is the best thing I can just say about that, right? And then on Friday and Saturday, let me recap Friday. Friday we kicked it off. I think I got to post the pictures. Matter of fact, I don't think my dumbass took enough or any pictures of that. We might have some other footage. We're putting together some footage that Raven shot with a professional camera. So that's being edited as we speak, so you can kind of get a little more feel. It's just some footage of all 4 days. Look for that. That's being worked on and edited now as the filming of this video. I know some of you watching that were at the site, the opening ritual site. We did an opening ritual at this big ass. It's like a sea horse with dragons, a huge, humongous waterfall. The thing is huge. We did a draconian opening ritual at this site because it was all layered and connected with the Kundalini and the serpent and the dragon energy. So we all gathered there right when the place opened. It's crazy how things work out, because we got there, the shit was closed. We thought it opened up around 9 o'clock. Turns out it didn't open until 11. But let me just show you how the spirits work sometime. Now, it was down there just a little before 10. And I kid you not, we drove around this thing about 5 or 6 times. And anybody that was there can testify to this. We drove around that thing 5 or 6 times, seeing if there was a way to get in. Everything was locked. We drove to one of the buildings on site where it looked like they had, it was like property management. We had Raven go in there and ask when they opened. We were told 11. So as we're leaving, now I don't know, call it what you want. The main entrance, as we're going out, the first one we checked twice, all of a sudden both gates are open. So we're all excited like little kids. We park in the parking lot next to it. So here we are at 10 o'clock in the morning. I think there was just only 2 people had entered after us, after they saw it had opened. And we're standing in front of this huge structure doing a left-hand path draconian ritual. It's fucking awesome. And that's the beauty of this path. And we didn't give a fuck in the sense that, not in a rude, disrespectful way, we were just locked in on our goal, what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. So it was a great way to kick it off. Now, I didn't take any photos. I know some of you guys did that were at the conference. If you do have some, please reach out to me. I would like to get some of those photos so I can post those pictures on the social media pages and on the YouTube, the Instagram and the TikTok and the Facebook. So get at me. It's just so people can see this structure, which was pretty cool. And how I came across this, turns out, for the longest I've been driving by it every day, daily, and just my dumb ass just never, how I missed this thing and how big it is. You guys are going to be like, how the fuck did you not see that? And you've been driving by it for a long period of time. Well, anyway, it worked out. So it was a great way to open the ritual on Friday. Then we had Kiona kicked it off with a twin flame presentation, which was off the chain. I think it opened some eyes, is the best way I can tell. Ravana Noon did a great presentation on sitting on your throne and being your he used a great term, sovereign grand commander, being the ruler, and really it was focused on ruling the mind. That was the beauty of it. It was really focused on ruling the mind and rulership, etc. He did a great presentation. Then we broke for lunch. We always head downtown, right there in the Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale area. There's a bomb-ass pizza spot. So everybody headed down there. We always take a break, about an hour and a half. These pizza slices are huge. It's real New York pizza. It's not everybody, when you leave the state of New York, everybody claims to have New York pizza, but they don't. Trust me when I tell you. But this is one of the few spots. I'm going to tell you, you got to get a small to medium box just to get 2 slices in there. That's how big these fucking slices are. Right? So we did that. We came back from lunch. We kind of had a recap, and then we prepared. We broke camp and then prepared for the ritual later that evening. Man. So we come back Friday evening, and we do the ritual that we did was the Dicker and Chant Circle of the Black Path. You'll see some footage. We don't film the rituals because they're personal, some of the shit that happens. But we set up an altar. We had a circle we formed, and in the circle we had red and black skull candles, and we invoked, we used some of the chants for the jinn, some of the chants for Lucifer, some of the adversarial or infernal deities that we connected with. It was crazy because when we had the Dicker circle formed around the skull candles, one thing Ravana pointed out that I noticed, he noticed on a certain level, and other people had noticed, that circle of skull candles formed. It's like it formed an eye, and the eye opened up. It was crazy. So that ritual was empowering, is probably the best word I can use to describe. That finished the first night. And then on Saturday, we came back in the morning, got right into our work. In the morning, we had 3 presentations on Saturday. The first presentation, I'm sorry, Dimitri's, I made a mistake. Dimitri's did his presentation on Friday. Ravana's was on Saturday. I believe it was the first presentation of the day. So let me correct that. I stand to be corrected. Dimitri's did his on the first day. And he basically did a presentation in using common sense, foundational things and working with magic. He really touched on rage and how to properly work with rage, because rage and anger is so misunderstood as an emotion in mainstream, because we're always taught to suppress it, and that's not what rage and anger is about. Dimitri's went in depth in doing destructive work correctly, the correct process of devouring, how to channel anger and rage in a beneficial factor for your growth. Something I've been saying for years. Rage and anger is only destructive if you have no power over it to harmonize it. Then it can become destructive. So he went in deep on that. He used some vampiric references. He used working with necromancy and working with some of the infernals. Multitude of different concepts to kind of draw home that point, which was, hit home pretty good. And we kind of drew off of that because there was a lot of elements connected to what the weekend was about. So I had those days mixed up. So that was him. And then I did a presentation on Set and Egyptian Heka. Wasn't just focused on Set, but Set was the foundation, and the presentation worked itself out. I got into depth about what Egyptian Heka is, how it's a form of Luciferian magic and sorcery, and how, again, there's such a strong connection to Egypt when it comes to magic, sorcery, and necromancy, because that's in essence what Egyptian Heka is about, why it's not talked about mainstream. I got into some of the historical aspect of Set. I got into some of the historical aspect of the necromancy and the sorcery. And I kind of went in depth on explaining the difference between the pre-dynastic Egyptians and the Hyksos, or the last 46 dynasties, because that's where, after you get out of the pre-dynastic Egyptians, that's where the magic and the sorcery stuff is not talked about a lot. Not a coincidence. So I went in depth on, and then I went in depth on working with Set in ritual. I shared some experience as well as others did, and the intensity of that, the power of that, and the approach in working with Set, and kind of what to be prepared for and how to engage. Because one thing I touched on that I've touched on here on the YouTube is getting out of the mindset that you're buddy with these spirits, right? And I've explained across the board how that can be dangerous for you. So I went into that and some other things, and we got in depth on all aspects of Egyptian Heka, because Egyptian Heka it's black magic, it's left-hand path work, right? And it's rooted in Egypt, but it's not talked about. Okay. It's just not talked about. Then we did a presentation, myself and Raven. The third presentation for that day was how to integrate the shadow self. And that was a great one because everybody had input and participated. Everybody had input and participated. The importance of shadow work. We talked about different aspects of shadow work. Great input by everybody at the conference, the presenters, and just the people who attended, and the people online. We did have some people that attended the conference online. Remember, that is an option you can do too if you can't get there in person. And then that wrapped up Saturday during the day's presentations. And then we met on the beach Saturday night. A great drumming ritual. We had skipped the beach last year, and we did something just in the graveyard. But went back to the beach. I try to always incorporate something on the beach because we get a lot of people that come and they don't get the chance to have that full beach experience. So obviously, we're down here in South Florida. We're minutes away from beaches, so we have that access. So we got out there in the evening. We set up an altar with some LED flame candles. We put some skulls on there. We had some imagery of Set in Egypt. But a unique thing happened as I was getting ready for the ritual. Before I got there, a unique thing happened. I had no intention to incorporate Uzili Dantor, but as I was gathering the stuff we needed for the ritual, I started hearing her calling, like, look, you ain't going to the beach without including me in a ritual. So remember, everything is always open and subject to adjustment. So I said, all right, this really was called Khepera, the ritual of Khepera, the drumming ritual of Khepera, which was dealing with remanifestation, invoking the elements, the Netaru, tapping into the energy of Khepera. So I said to myself, now how am I going to, or how should I, not how am I going to, because I was doing it, because the communication, the voice was strong from Uzili Dantor, which made sense because as you guys know who are on Patreon, we've been doing a year-long working. This is month 11. We wrap it up next month. So she's like, ain't no way you're not going to invite this lower to the beach drumming. So I was like, shit, all right. So I grabbed some elements for Uzili Dantor. Now, nobody knew until I got out there. I was like, look, slight change of plans. Because like I said, none of this is really planned. We have a general idea of what we want to do. Same thing in the graveyard and the cemetery. And, shout out to Demetrius for giving his input on the fly. We don't really plan this. We just kind of go with the flow. And that's the best way to do it. So I said, well, we just need to connect this, have a separate thing for Dantor, and then do what we were originally going to do. So we did an opening, addressing that. Not going to get into some of the personal spirits came through. And again, some more communication and messages for some people that were there, which I won't touch on here. It's personal, nobody's business. We'll let those individuals talk about it anytime down the road in the future if they decide. So a lot of drumming, dancing. Shout out to Mike, who back down here. It's my drumming partner, my partner I know for a while. So it was good that he couldn't make last year's conference. So I'm glad he's back down here. We were able to get on the drums. Shout out to Rashad getting on the fucking bongos. We had people hitting the cat. It was good. People got involved. People moved, connected to the spirit. It was great. I always get power from the drumming. Unfortunately, I get locked in. I forget who's even there, what we're doing. I'm just so locked into Mike, what he's doing and what I'm doing, and I'm connected to the rhythm of the drums. When I come out of it, I got to just take 30 seconds to a minute to realize, oh, we're at the conference. There's people here. That's just how locked in I get. So the drumming was powerful. We left there, went to Flanagan's. The night before, we go to this place, Upper Deck, on Friday night. It was real nice spot. We had a huge table, and we were inside, and it's like we almost had the whole inside to ourselves. There's barely anybody on the inside. Felt more like a little personal gathering. So that was Friday night. Saturday night, we had Flanagan's on the beach, which that's our go-to spot. Every year, we at least hit it one time. We're just hanging out there, kicking it, having some good food. And then on Sunday, question and answer session. Some great input by everybody there. Myself, Ravana, Demetrius, Patra, everybody that stayed. Sometimes not everybody can stay for the question and answer. They got to fly out Sunday to get back Monday, so some people did have to leave. And we wrapped it up. We had a nice 4-hour class. We went straight, 4 hours almost. And we were dropping it. There were people online. I know you guys were tuned in. We got personal in that class is the best thing I could say. Very personalized, very detailed. And that wrapped up the conference. Like I say, man, it's a great experience. I'm just going to put, pieces of the footage out. I don't record or sell any of it because I explained why before. I know people will reach out. Is it for sale? Do you have the class? No. I don't want to do that because this is where I try to keep it a little more old school. I want it to be very personalized. Again, I want people who come to the conference to have that memory in their memory bank as something very personal. It's like back in the day when we didn't have all this technology and you went to some special event, you had to be there, right? Remember when you were younger, if you're my age, maybe some of you more millennials don't know what that is, but we didn't have internet, all this technology, this mass communication. We didn't have that shit back then. But we do now, but I like to keep it like back, you had to be there. It's one of those things you need to be there to experience. So there'll be some footage, more detailed footage this year so you can get an idea and a feel So yes, you'll definitely get a better than just a short glimpse this year. And shout out to Raven for doing a lot of the, well, not a lot. She did all the camera work, I should say. And every year, I always appreciate her and the help that she does organizing the conference. She gave out little gift bags. Shout out to her. She did that at a, just because she wanted to do it. And as you guys know, she's been a part of the conference since day one. Is always willing to volunteer and work, and never complains. Just gets the work done, and she's the one that puts together the itineraries, the flyers. She does a lot of shit behind the scenes you guys probably don't see. Some of you know because you see her there. Some of you guys been coming for years, so you know who she is. You know how long she's been doing it. But I got to give a shout out to her. Couldn't get a lot of that stuff done if I didn't have the help. Shout out to Ravana. He comes down every year. Demetrius has come a couple times now, So, again, shout out. We couldn't do a lot of these things if I had some of the experienced people helping. And it's a great time. So I hope next year we can see some newer people. We had a couple new people this year. I hope next year we can see some newer people come through and join us. It's a great 4-day event of just fellowshipping, hanging out, kicking it, doing ritual work, having nice dialogue, good food, just kicking it. It's a combination of both. So hopefully next year, you guys prepare, plan. Hopefully we can see some newer faces. Next October 2025, 8th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference. More information coming on that later in the year. All right. Other than that, that's kind of it. I just wanted to do a recap of the conference. I haven't been on. I will again, possibly early next week. I'm going to try to get on. It's time to do a live YouTube. It's been a minute. I'm going to get with Brother Taja. I know we hadn't got a hip-hop occult show in the month of October. Want to see what his schedule is looking like. Want to get back on with just one, Brother Taja, and get that show back up and running. So now that the conference is gone, I'm going to try to get back on that regular schedule. So look for me to go live on YouTube soon. And a hip-hop occult show will be coming your way soon. And that's it, man. And again, I know I like to always, when I get a chance, I just want to show my gratitude and appreciation to all you guys that have supported me for years. Going back to the first year that YouTube channel was formed. I want to give a shout out and gratitude to all the Patreon family members. Some of you guys been there from day one. We are like a family, some of us, right? We've been around doing this now. You guys been with me since, some of you guys been there since the very first Patreon show almost 5 years ago. And again, I appreciate even you newer members. So I'm not making that distinction. So again, I want to show the shout out and the gratitude to all you guys that support the Patreon platform. I want to say shout out to all you guys that have done work with me over the years and readings and consultations. Shout out to you guys that have supported 7 straight years of the Journey of the Black Adept Conference, which is a continuing occult left-hand path tradition for Primordial Chaos down here in South Florida. So again, my thanks and my gratitude. And we couldn't do this if we all got together and put our heads in this. All right. So again, appreciate it. That's gonna wrap it up for me. If you need to reach out to me for any of the things I mentioned in the beginning of the video, readings, consultations, classes, the social media page, my contact email address, all of those links are in the description box of this video. I'm out of here. Infernal blessings.